Fire away.
We know you didn't get to play in the playoffs, but how would you sum up your season?
It was a lot of fun watching the team grow. It was neat. It was neat to I got my kids in school here, so both of them are in school. So it was neat to see the community, I think, rally around the team. It was fun. It was the kids every day wearing the Sens gear to school. You got to pick up at school, and people are chanting "Go Sens, go!" And so I do think this year it was a lot of fun. It was a neat season. I think the team took obviously a lot of steps, and for myself, I just quite frankly tried to do whatever was needed from me and whatever was asked, and I kind of played a little bit of everything this year. I think a little bit different roles here and there, and just tried to do that as best I could and have as much fun as I could with it, because we are blessed to play this game and do what I do for a living. So just tried to show up with a smile on my face and let the chips fall where they may every day.
You're a UFA this summer. What's next for you in your hockey playing future?
What's next for me is my daughter's 7th birthday yesterday, so she's got a party this afternoon. We got a gymnastics center rented out, so I'm going to go throw the tightest clothing I have on and just go do some gymnastics. But no, all kidding aside, that I'm just excited right now. I think to just, when the season ends, it's a long grind for the guys, basically from middle of last summer to get through the season and the playoffs. And I do think that our kids and I, being a father and being a dad and being a husband is something I take seriously. And so when you do miss moments, it's hard. So I think immediately, I know where you're getting at with your question, but I think in my life I try not to look too far ahead. I think I always have done that, and I think it's probably a good lesson for me just to try and stay in the moment. So I think it is nice that I can just go home and be dad, and there's a lot to unpack whenever you feel like you've just went through a season. And so to not be long-winded, but I think that's probably the best answer. I love being a Sen. I love Ottawa. I think I've been very clear about that since the 3.5 years that I've been here. I think the community is amazing. I think the group of guys, some of the funnest times I have playing hockey, I think has been here. And I think the neat thing about our community, whether it's Ottawa or the Gatineau region, is a sense of family. My kids really, really enjoy being here, and being a part of our community here in Canada, I think it's just been a blessing for us. Honestly, I've said that, and it's something I am fortunate to have had the chance to live in this community. It's next to none. So we'll be here for a little bit still this season while the kids are in school. So.
Travis, there was a moment after morning skate for Game 6. You were the last player on the ice. You were sitting there. The Zamboni, I think, was making its way out, and you were looking around. What was going through your mind in that moment?
You caught that? Well, you know what? All season, I skated a lot this year. I'm someone that just enjoyed, I don't think I miss an optional pregame skate. I think whenever you get a chance to get on an NHL ice surface is neat. It's kind of funny that my kids get on the ice here quite often, and they don't know and obviously can't appreciate how cool that is for them just to go skate on an NHL ice surface. And so I think with my kids now both playing hockey, and when I get them on the ice with me, they don't know, and how would they know how cool that is to do something like that. And it takes me back to being a kid when you're in an NHL building and you're on the ice and you're playing or you're practicing or whatever, and you're like, wow, this is kind of cool, right? So at the end of every pregame skate, quite frankly, I always take a moment. I guess maybe there's just more action on the ice when normal pregame skates throughout the season. I take a moment and just say a prayer and just take a moment to be grateful for it. So that's honestly what that was. I just happened to be the last guy off the ice.
That was no different than another morning skate for you.
No, no. I try to take a look around because I do enjoy it. I do appreciate it, and one day, whenever that day comes, you won't be able to show up and take my kids skating on an NHL rink, and someone would call security if I did that, I guess. But you just won't be able to have those moments. So whatever, at my age and at this point in my career, you don't know how many more you got, and so you try to appreciate the ones you have.
So that's why you need some time for reflection too, Travis, is because of your age. You played 900 games, but
yeah. Well, I do think at the end of the year, no matter what, you have to reflect. And also when you don't, it's different when you have a contract or if you don't have a contract. So there's a lot of intangibles, family and professional circumstances. So there's a lot. So I do think whatever the profession it is that you're in, whatever you feel like you've just finished a marathon or whatever the case may be, I think that you'd be ill-advised not to take a moment to catch your breath and just kind of see where everything goes, I guess. I do appreciate you asking that question. You never know. I love being an NHL player. I really do. It's been one of the biggest blessings I've had in my life. That's not lost on me any day.
Travis, congratulations on the 900 games.
Thank you.
You got those in right at the end of the year.
Yeah.
How important was that just for you?
That was probably more important for my kids. They were counting it down to see when I'd get there. They wanted to make the signs and things like that, so they were excited. But it's a nice round number, I guess. I think it just maybe something I'll appreciate when I'm a little bit older, to know that I've played 15 years and 900 games. I mean, that is, I guess, a lot. And I just try to be grateful for it all. But it wasn't necessarily something that I was like, I need to get. It's kind of nice how it all kind of unfolded, I guess, so to speak. But like I said, maybe my kids had it circled, but I just tried to approach it as another game, same way I'd done the other 899, I guess.
How was it for you throughout the season? I know you had familiarity with those guys on defense, but considering some of the injuries that would happen at different points, there were points where you were playing with Jake Sanderson, or you would find yourself on a second pairing, going back and forth playing with Tyler. What was it like for you throughout the season, going up and down all three of those pairings?
It was a little bit different. I mean, to be honest, in years past, I don't think I had that kind of movement. And I mean, let's be honest, like I didn't know what to expect at the start of the season. I just wanted to train and get myself ready, first and foremost, and kind of control what I could control. And I mean, things happen, and all of a sudden you're playing here, you're playing there. So, but I just tried to kind of take it day by day and see where I was playing, or if I was in, or whatever the case may be. But have that try not to affect me. And I am someone, I think, that is obviously pretty vocal and got great relationships with everyone on the back end. So I do think that maybe that did help when I went in to have the familiarity with whoever I was playing with. You know, obviously we've talked before, like when you're speaking and you're comfortable with each other and your friends off the ice, that can translate to communication on the ice and how important that is. So I do think that probably helped you.
You've been around this team for a few years now. What do you think explains the change we've seen this year that allows this team to take a step?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's necessarily one, I can give you the one magic answer, but I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. You know, the new coaching staff came in immediately and implemented some good changes for us as a group. It seemed like everyone took another step. All the younger players were all that much more mature, another year older, and I think as well the group had been through some hard years, and I think it'd be a missed opportunity and a missed chance to not evaluate those years where it didn't go your way and it wasn't hard, to see what you can do to drive, whether it's motivation, whether it's reflection on the ice of what you can do to be better and why you missed or things like that. So I think the group, and especially the younger players, really took that to heart the last couple of years, and it was kind of just a lot of factors, I think, that kind of all went in together with why the team had success, and I think the fan base got behind the group. You've seen it throughout the season, how passionate they were, and the guys feel that energy. Like I talked at the start, you go picking my kids up from school, you can see how dialed in the young kids are in school and how passionate. You see the flags on people's cars, like that doesn't go unnoticed, and I think that just drives everything. So I would say, yeah, it was kind of a good mix of everything that really pushed things this year.
There was a vocal minority, I would call them a vocal minority of fans who kind of were overly critical of your play throughout the season. You would get online a lot. Like, how aware were you of that criticism, and if you cared about it at all, like, how did you push through that?
I mean, I'm not online. I know a lot of guys say that, but I got enough going on at home with my kids and everything else, so I don't necessarily have time to be online doing things. I mean, listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's fine. I do think that, what's the best way to say this? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and it is what it is. And I do think that early on in my career, I was told that you're never as good as they are. Sorry, let me repeat that. You're never as good as they say you are, and you're never as bad as they say you are. And I was showing up every day and putting my head down and just going to work and doing whatever I could. The people that didn't like my play or don't like me or whatever the case may be, they're part of our fan base too. And I went out there and put that jersey on for 3.5 years and played my butt off for that fan base. I would have done whatever I had to do, And so I just looked at it the other way. I just chose not to acknowledge, if there was bad being said to me, I just, whatever. It is what it is. They're allowed their opinion, but I try to choose more positivity than negativity, and I don't necessarily sense the good reason to knock people down all the time. I don't get that, but it is what it is.
You and Steve had any conversations?
Yeah, we had a meeting this morning. Yeah.
Contract that brought up about your future?
No. I mean, no. I mean, we talk quite often. Like I played with Steve, so we had a meeting this morning, and yeah, like I said, no, there's nothing on that front right now.
And you may have played your last game as an Ottawa Senator?
I'm not going to look that far ahead. Things change quickly in this business. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. Yeah, I haven't got around to that. I like I said, when I got traded here, I think it was 3.5 years ago. I think it changed the course of my career and my family's life. I mean, my kids were 2 and 3 when we got here, and they've grown up here. It's kind of what they've known, right? So I just chose to look at it as a blessing, and obviously I'm never going to play till I'm 50. At some point it will end. But being here and being a Senator, I think was like every moment of my career, which the 4 teams I played on has all had something a little bit different. But I just think with how much of a community base this is and how much my family's enjoyed living here and being here, that it is a special place. Yeah.
Whether it's in Ottawa or elsewhere, do you still want to play after this season?
Yeah, I think every guy, even when they're retired, 70 years old, still want to play, right? So I think the hunger inside of a player to play is always there, and so you always want to play. I mean, that's the thing. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The motivation still burns deeply. If anything, obviously I didn't play in the playoffs, and when you see the guys going out there and so charged up, it just makes you want to play. And but yeah, we'll cross all those bridges when I get there. But yeah.
Hearing how your family has been involved in this community since you got here, do you see yourself playing anywhere else at this point?
Yeah, I mean, these are all, and I respect you guys asking these questions. I get it for a player of my age and this and that, but I haven't gotten to that point. You know, when I was with the Islanders, I didn't necessarily see myself. I played there for 7 years and was drafted there, and New York was a very special place to us. But I didn't necessarily at the time see myself playing anywhere else either. And then since then, I've been on 3 teams, so you never know what can happen and where things go. And that's why I mentioned earlier that things change quickly in this life and in this business. And whether it's me or what you guys do for a living, things change. And it's how you adapt and how you move forward. So I think it's all just kind of all look at that. But I do respect your question. I understand where you guys are asking those from. But I guess I don't have any answers. If I did, I wouldn't tell you. So.
What would it be for you to move somewhere else next season?
Yeah, I mean, you know, my son and daughter, I should say, are very passionate Senators fans. So they were upset when we lost the other day. They were really upset. But you know, we move as a cohesive family unit, and the best thing, as much as I can sit here and smile and talk about playing hockey and how blessed I am to play hockey and do what I do for a living, it's unfortunately it doesn't hold a candle to what I do as a father and in my family life, right? And that is the utmost importance to me. So whatever we decide, one way or another, wherever, this and that, is always as a family at this point in my career. So we'll leave it at that.
Speaking of a player who's just getting started, Tyler Klevin just played his first full season.
Yeah.
What have you seen in his growth this year, and what have you tried to do to...
Yeah, I mean, he's a heck of a player, and I think you've seen that down the stretch. I think the fan base, I said this a couple of years ago about Jake, how good I thought Jake was going to be and the impact that he was going to have on our group, and I think Clev is another one of those players that's going to have a huge impact. So I don't know what they're doing at the University of North Dakota pumping old D-man, but someone had a phone line into that program with our team, but I think Clev's a heck of a player. He's only you talk about a raw talent or scratching the surface. I think that's kind of what you're seeing with him. I think he's got a lot of offensive upside as well. He's got a cannon with a shot. He skates extremely well, and you can see when he's dialed in physically what the impact. I mean, he can change a game with a big hit. And I think learning how to time your hits, when to maybe step a little bit out of position and you can get away with it. Those are things that he's obviously really good at right now, but he's only going to learn how to develop those skills more, and I think he's going to be someone that can impact the game in like 4 different manners, and kind of a unique skill set for what we have on our back end that no one really does that, right? So I think the sky's the limit, and off the ice, I think we really became good friends. He's an easy guy to get to know and hang out with and build that chemistry off the ice, and it's just a true pleasure to be around. Like every guy in that room, honestly. We don't have any bad seeds in there. We got a good group. So.
How have you seen Brady's leadership evolve in time?
Yeah, I mean, he's a heck of a leader. He's obviously a heck of a hockey player. He's extremely passionate. He's someone that is, not necessarily dragging you in the fight, but dragging you in the fight. He wears it on his sleeve every night, and whether it's a big goal, whether it's stepping up physically with the fight as you see him do. I mean, he's a unique player in the league in that sense. Like, I don't really know if there's too many like him. All the while having to wear a C in a Canadian market is never the easiest thing in in a city that obviously there was some hard years, and he was the captain for it. And then when you're making that transition, become a playoff team, I thought his off-ice leadership skills in our dressing room and how he goes about his day-to-day business is next to none. It's actually pretty impressive, and I mean it's part of their family. You can tell, from his dad or his brother, who I played with as well. It's the same thing. But I mean, he's a heck of a leader, heck of a person, heck of a hockey player, and yeah, you can tell what it means. Like even just with the kids in the dressing room and things like that. Like you can tell he's growing up in the NHL dressing room and the impact that he can have on my kids, or like to my kids, he's just Brady, that's it. Don't realize, how good of a player he is and things like that. But he is a heck of a leader, and he's an important one for us.
Not to go back to Tyler, you mentioned how you got along with him off the ice. What advice did you give him, if you did, about having to adjust to being an everyday NHL player and living that NHL life?
Off the top of my head, these young guys are coming in and they're dialed right in. Like it's not like it was when I was coming into the league. It's a little bit different. I just tried to help off the ice, scout and report before a game. What is this guy going to do on the ice? This guy's going to try and drive you wide. This guy's going to use his shot, his physicality, his speed. He's going to reverse hit you. So whether on the ice, things like that, these guys are so in their intuition for the game and where they need to do and how they need to play, I think is things that you can't necessarily teach them. But just tried to help off the ice, and I think the most important thing is just develop a really good friendship, and I think we have that. So it's he's a heck of a player, yeah.
Thanks, Travis. We got Linus.
There you go. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Enjoy the birthday party.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. What'd you get her for birthday? Can you spill the beans?
Pony. We have a live chat going on as well, right? Oh yeah. I saw it.
How's it been for you processing the last few days now that you're out of the playoffs?
Still fresh, I would say. I think that after this weekend, things will feel different, in my mind at least. We're going to get together here, a couple of the guys as well, and this, like everybody else does when you don't go all the way, or even if you go all the way. So get a time to get some closure on this, get to enjoy the fine times with each other. It's been a lot of fun. We have some more fun to up down the road as well.
What was it like for you? You came here because you wanted to be the number one goaltender. What was that experience like for the first time in your NHL career?
It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of hardships, a lot of things that happened throughout the season that hopefully I don't have to go through next season as well. That's my plan at least, but plans can change. But I'm really happy with how things kind of progress throughout this season. Ever since our little, I would say, rough patch in November to then playing really solid hockey in December, and then kind of fed off of that. And throughout the season is long, there's going to be ups and downs, but I felt that looking at the team from an inside but an outside perspective as well, that there was less of the lows and more of the highs. And the way that people, not just the players in his own, there was a different type of feeling speaking to a lot of people around it, not just in here but on the outside as well, with fans having a little bit more cheerful tone in their voice and a little bit more excitement about the things that we're doing here. And once you see that, and not just for me, in the beginning of the season towards January, February, March, you like there's a big change here, and you get to feel like, okay, there's an excitement, there's some hope and about the playoffs, and then you get to see the playoff and get to feel how much louder it was here compared to Toronto, for example. It was an awesome thing to hear and see.
What are you going to take from your experience, too, as being the number one goalie for all of the playoffs for the first time in your career?
Well, basically the same things. For me, at least, you're going through these sort of things. You have your anxieties, you have your worries, you have your doubts, which every single person has in this league. What I like about it is that it didn't really affect me from my standpoint. There's always going to be people saying that if he played better, we would have won the series or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm the first one to tell you that. I'm not happy with the results. I can look back at it and seeing that I'm happy about certain things. I'm happy with the strides that we've been taking as a team and the things that I learned as well. I got a shout out in the playoffs as well together with the guys, and that's the first time for me, and know that I can do it is a good confirmation that for next time, I know there's a possibility I can do it. I don't have to think, can I do it? I know that I can. And playing with these guys as well and seeing how they kind of adapted from game 1 to game 6 or even the other games was a lot of fun. And I'm very proud and I'm very happy and motivated in a way, seeing that, okay, the guys got it. It wasn't that we ran out of the building 4 straight, like people might have thought when we lost the first one. No, we took it to 3 overtimes. We won one of them and got one on the road. And I said it throughout the playoffs as well. You got to rely a little bit on lady luck as well. But I also said you have to earn it. And things, you know how to earn it in a way. You know where to go. And you got to give Toronto credit in a way as well. They did a lot of good things. I thought that we did a lot of great things as well. And sometimes it's a one-goal game. That's how it is. But coming back to me myself, I'm happy and excited about what's to come in a way. And looking back at this season, like you said, being a number 1 goaltender for the first real time for the whole season, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Ever since I got here, it's been a lot of fun.
That November rough patch, was there like a heart-to-heart with everybody? Was there a meeting? What went on behind the scenes, as much as you can tell us, that kind of helped you guys turn around and get out of that and go on that stretch of games in December?
I'm only going to speak for myself because it was a time in my life as well that I focused too much on what we were doing, which is a deadly sin as a goaltender because you can't change what the guys are doing. You can't have them doing different things out there. You can't be in control of what they're doing. You kind of just have to adapt to it. And a lot of times during that time, I was frustrated with the way that we were doing things, but had some really good conversations, me and Petey, for example, that it's not about them, it's about us. And I've, at first you're like, what do you mean? That, I'm trying my best here. But I was very frustrated in a way that I always let in at least 1 goal a game where it was preventable. And once I started thinking, more about what I can do and focusing on the things that I need to do, like my preparation, for example, was awful a lot of times during this stretch. Once that kind of got better, December happened. And we know what happened there. We went on a run. And I'm very happy in the way that we had the honesty together to, have that conversation together and not just, blame it on someone else or something else. And it was a valuable lesson for me of, okay, if I just take care of myself and doing what I need to be doing, I give the guys a better opportunity to win instead of having to focus on PK or power play or, breakouts and this and that. I started to see the situation for what they were and started to get a better read on the things, which allowed me to be a lot more prepared for any type of situation that would develop. And when that happened, a lot less goals went in because I was already prepared for things happening. And it's the beauty of it. Like, you never know what kind of a situation you're going to be thrown at. And it's one of those things, it sucked during the time, but it was a valuable lesson for me myself to go through because it really helped me get to a point where I felt very comfortable about what we were doing. And you could see the light in a way. It wasn't just pitch black and everything sucks. There were some good things here and there, and then there were some more things, and all of a sudden the whole room started lighting up, and we started to believe in a different way, and guys realized what needed to be done on a daily basis, because they already were professionals, off the ice and doing all those sort of things, but it was more about what we were doing on the ice every single game, every single practice, that kind of just clicked in a better way. When you see that and when you're part of it, you get that fire burning even harder and more intense.
The way you prepared earlier in the season, was that the way you had in the past? Was it different? The way you changed it, you just said in November, is that something that you plan to do moving forward?
This is a thing that, as a goaltender, is one of those things when you have to learn the tendencies of your players in front of you, knowing who likes to pinch, who likes to go on offensive rights, who likes to do soft passes across the middle, who likes to do what, who's a big shot blocker, who can you rely on having a good stick. And it's hard in the beginning because you don't know. You're trying to figure out what all these guys are good at and what their tendencies are. And once you start doing that, it's easier for you to be prepared for what's to come. You might have, say, for a demon that's really, really good in a 2-on-1 situation of taking away the passing option. Okay, great. This is my guy. And then you might have someone that's really good at blocking shots. So when there's a battle in front, okay, he's going to grab it. I just have to focus on making sure that there's no holes on the other side of him, basically. And so these things takes time. I said it from day one. It will take time. Sometimes it goes faster. Sometimes it doesn't. For me, at least, it was an exciting thing that things came together, during December, and then continued on throughout the season, where when I look around the room and I see old tendencies vanish as well, that might have not been a productive way of playing. It was so fun, seeing the development of young guys like, for example, Clevy, coming in, playing his first season. Or it's not easy, it's a long season. It takes a long time to get accustomed to it. We're not. You can look around the league, you see guys playing 10 years still trying to figure things out, and seeing it up close, seeing the development of these guys, seeing how terrific of a skater Timmy is, seeing I would say, we all knew it, but how good Sandy was at the Four Nations, and getting to show the whole nation and all the other guys that was watching hockey at that time that, yeah, this is how good we know he is, and get to feed off of it. Those moments is one of the best things, in a playoff, in a team environment, for me at least. That's something that I get excited about.
At the beginning of the season, you mentioned that you wanted to play the lion's share of the games for the first time in your career. This year you played 44. Is that still going to be a personal goal of yours going into next season?
Yeah, if you look at it, I don't know how many games I ended up missing. So during the time when I was here, I did play limelight of the games. So I think I speak for everyone that you never want to get injured. You want to be available every single night. You want to have the opportunity to go out there and battle with the guys. And yeah, it hasn't changed. I'm still going to go out there. I'm not going to come in next year and say that, 30 games is enough. We can share it 30, 30, 20 or something like that between three guys. No, that's not going to be. You're never going to hear that from me.
And secondly, your backup goaltender, Daniel Forsberg, obviously you guys have a long relationship. He's not restricted free agent this summer. Maybe you can speak to that relationship, and if it winds up being led Carolina next year, what would that dynamic bring for you?
Yeah, no, it's ever since, I would say, day one. Me and Forsey knew each other from way back. We thought it was a pretty cool thing that, or at least I did at the time, that, we started our professional careers back home in Örnsköldsvik, Modo, and here we are 10 plus years later being a tandem in the world's best hockey league, being two guys literally 30, 40 minutes apart from the northern part of Sweden. It was a pretty cool thing. to think about that what we managed to accomplish in our own careers. And him together with his wife Jess and Ben and Stella, their kids have been a tremendous support for us throughout the season. We've grown very close, closer than I could have imagined, I would say. So I have a lot to thank for, because it made the life off the ice a lot easier. Whenever there was any sort of questions from me or my wife or whatever it may be, or if it was a play date here or there, they were in the same shoes as us. Being a goaltending family, it's a little bit different. So I have a lot of gratitude towards them, lots of love as well. So they really helped us to kind of thrive in Ottawa quicker than I ever could have imagined.
Linus, World Championships are in Sweden. Has Sweden reached out, and do you have any interest?
Oh no, yeah, I have the interest, but they've decided not to go with me. That's the what's it called? That's the decision that they made. Found out, and so it would have been a great opportunity to play for Team Sweden, obviously back home in Stockholm. So let down about that whole situation. I really wish that I had the opportunity to do that and put the national team jersey on now, especially when we didn't make it until the second round, because it's this. You don't want to play World Championship in a way because you don't want to be available. That's the thing. You always want to say like, sorry, I can't come. I'm playing second round or third round. So, but it just spoke a little bit highly this year to being home in Sweden and having friends and family come watching you, and so. But that's the decision that they've made. It's nothing I can go about and change it. It's just something they have to own up to.
Is that, just to add some context, is that based on timing more than anything? Because you're in the playoffs?
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I haven't had what's it called? It's my agents who's had the conversation together with the management of Tekrone, so you would have to talk to them about what the actual reasonings for. He just brought the news to me yesterday that I'm not going, or that I'm not having the option to go. And so, my summer is going to be a little bit longer, it seems like.
You mentioned it being Tyler Cleven's first season, and also that earlier in the year it was difficult to gauge what your team's tendencies were in front of you. What have you learned about Cleven's game and as the season has progressed?
Buddy, I just wish he would hit as hard as he does all the time, more times. It's fun seeing it from behind, from where I'm standing, seeing how the forwards line up for him to go out there and hit. And so once you start utilizing his body that way, it just gets you so fired up. And I can't speak for the whole team that whenever you see that from him, it can change the game. It can does. And so for him to do that, but he did a lot of good things throughout this last couple of games as well, of managing the puck in the right places and making good plays, not just throwing it away at first hand. But no, he looked a lot more comfortable, and he had a lot more poise out there, which I feed off of. And I think that's something that I strive to be a part of as well, of being a person that if you look at me and you can see that, he's cool, calm and collected, it's fine. And so the difference is I would say that he had a lot more confidence from my standpoint, at least.
Thank you, Linus.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linus.
That's him going right away.
Hi, it's nice.
It's been a couple of days, or 2 days maybe. Just what are your reflections on making the playoffs and just the season in general?
Yeah, it's obviously so frustrating because we really felt like we had a chance to win that series. And I think it goes throughout the room. I think we were disappointed. But on the other side, I'm really looking forward to get things rolling again. And I'm proud of this team in a lot of ways. I think we found a way after being down 3-0, coming back, fighting back in the series, and giving us a chance. Throughout the year, I think everybody bought in, which was really impressive to see. All the guys came back in great shape after the summer, worked really hard, and it showed me again how much we want to win here. And I'm proud of the guys. I love all those guys, and I think we can be proud in a way of how the season went, but I think there's still more to come.
Where do you think you took the biggest steps forward this season?
I think my two-way game, trying to be able to play defensive better. I think there's still lots of improvements to be made, and I think there's still lots of areas I can get better at. But I think the most improvements were in my defensive game and, decision making.
I know it's been a couple of months, but we're not that far off from when you guys had that slide in November where you lost all those games in a row. How did you guys dig yourselves out of that? Was it meetings? Was it heart-to-hearts with people? It seemed like you guys did something to get yourself out of that, and it led to all those wins in December.
I think just trusting the process. I think training camp was really hard, and every team goes through a little bit of a bad stretch throughout the year, and we knew that. We've learned from maybe past seasons as well, where it can't affect us too much, and I think we've done a great job. Obviously, having those home games at the end helped us a lot, having the crowd on our back. But, we were on the road for the whole November, December. So it's not easy going on the road all the time and playing all those road games. And, but we found a way to get points where we needed to get points. And like I said, at the end, I think we really deserve to get in the playoffs this year.
How much did you lean on the newer voices, the older voices, experienced voices in the locker room at that time in November who might not be accustomed to the here we go again in November, you guys are losing all these games, and even Travis Green could be included in that too because it was his first season coaching. How much did you lean on those guys who weren't hurt by those previous seasons in that stretch?
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about it, that we can't get affected what happened the last years. We all knew what happened, but we didn't really try and think about it too much. Obviously, you still kind of have it in the back of your head, but you just try and not affect you. And I think those guys coming in, DP, Oli, they've been through a lot as well, and they know what it takes to win. And Jens as well, he's been a huge factor, I think, for the whole team, even when he was playing hurt. He's been a huge factor for our group, and all those guys, they know what it takes to win, and that's what we needed. That's what we needed. Kazi even won a cup, scored a couple big goals. So that's what it takes to win, and that's what we had. So like I said, I think there's every guy on this team, I still try and learn stuff from those guys. Even the young guys coming in, I think there's always stuff we can pick up from them, and everybody brings something to the table. So I think we had a lot of it this year.
Did you learn about your playoff experience that maybe you can take into next season?
Yeah, it was so much fun playing those games. It was actually unbelievable, and it's probably the most fun I ever had playing hockey. With the crowd too, the atmosphere we had, and just once you get back, way more, and do it every year, and that's what I learned. I think it's going to push me even harder. I know how hard it is, and it's going to push me even harder to get better every year, and trying to accomplish that goal.
It was talking in the community. Fans are overjoyed with how you stepped up your game in the playoffs, physicality, defense, like you touched on. Goal scoring is not easy to come by either when that time comes. What was it about the postseason that really made you elevate that game?
Yeah, I think obviously just to want to win that bad. Obviously, when you get I always want to win, but if you get to the postseason, there's just that inner motivation that you do anything for the team at any time, and I think we had that throughout the whole lineup, and that's where we kind of came back because everybody was willing to do anything for the team, and That was myself included. I think nobody cared who was going to score. Nobody cared who was going to get a point. It was just everything for the team. And I think all the guys in our team, all the young guys, took a huge step in that direction, what it takes to win. And, yeah, made me proud to see that.
Coach who doesn't have a contract as June 30th or something, what has he meant to you in the past 3 years? Would you like to see you stick around?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. Obviously, I want him to stick around. He's one of my really good friends, one of my closer guys on the team, and I can speak for probably everyone. He's got a bond to every single guy on the team. I think he's still a really special player. I think he makes our team better, and obviously, it always kind of sucks to see when somebody's contract is up and you don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I know how hard of a worker he is. I know how competitive he is, and I know he's going to come back really strong to show everyone how hard he worked in the off season. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think I can speak for everyone on the team. We are really lucky to have him, and I've been really lucky to have him for all those years now. We played together, and we went through a lot of up and downs, and I could always lean on him. He was always there for me, for Brady too, through hard times, and that's what it's all about. So, yeah, I love him, and hopefully we can have him back.
What are some of the most important things you've learned from being around Claude?
Just of how competitive he is. I think both of us, you probably say the same thing. Both of us can't really lose, so. Every time we do something together, if it's mini golf, if it's pickleball, if it's playing soccer, none of us can lose. So there's always a couple arguments, even playing cards. But that's just the kind of person he is. That's the kind of person I am, and I think that's what makes us better too. We always, yeah, I have just so much respect for him. So anything we do, we push each other, and I look up to him in a way, and just at his age, how competitive he still is, and how bad he wants to win. So, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think previous seasons when I had issues with my wrist, I couldn't really take a lot of face-offs, and then I wasn't really playing a lot center in the D zone either. So I think I worked a lot with the coaching staff to try and get better in those aspects. I worked, sorry, yeah. No, this guy. Yeah, I mean, I think every single part of my game I still want to improve. But I think face-offs was a big point. I don't even know what my percentage was years before, but couldn't be too high. And obviously the coaching staff didn't trust me on taking those responsible face-offs, and I want to be a guy who is able to take those face-offs, be on the ice in those moments, and they showed me what I got to do that, and that's winning more face-off as well. And I mean, obviously you can't trust a guy whose face-off percentage is 35%, and you have another guy whose face-off percentage is 57. You're obviously taking the guy with 57, so. And we have a lot of good face-off guys on the team, so that kind of motivated me to get better in that aspect too.
Toronto obviously utilized Marner and Matthews on PK. You saw a little bit of PK earlier in the season. Is that something that you'd like to incorporate into your game?
Yeah, I think so, but I think the PK has done a pretty good job all year. I know they got a lot of heat for some things they were doing, but they always stuck to the process. And if you have guys coming in, new coaches coming in, new systems coming in, it's not easy doing it right from the start. And there were some breakdowns maybe here and there, but we always talked about trust and process the whole time. So I think they've done a really good job of that, and they're going to continue to get better too. And obviously, if I can be a part of that or help out in that, I would love to. But in the end, I think the guys who played PK have done a really good job. So there was no real reason to switch anything, and they're just going to continue to get better. Pins and Ritz have done an amazing job, I think, all year. Killing pennies, shutting down guys. So, yeah, they deserve playing on the penalty kill.
You feel like this team needs to take next season to maybe take that next level and go deeper in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think everybody's going to get even stronger throughout the summer. Everybody's going to work harder, probably even than last year, and going to give everything they have, because now we know what it feels like to be in the playoffs, and what it means to this city, what it means to this fan base, and yeah, it's just a special place to play, and I think for us it's just the motivation we have in us that we're going to continue to get better. We're still really young, and now we know what it takes to get in, but we're going to try and figure out a way to win those games. I think this year's could have went either way, so that takes experience as well, and yeah, I'm just really excited to what the future is holding for us, and I can't wait to get playing again.
Is there anything in your off season that you want to improve upon heading into next season?
Yeah, I think everything. I think there's still a lot of room. I think I can get stronger on pucks. I think in playoffs I play pretty physical, so I think that's something I can still bring to my game more throughout the regular season. And yeah, just being able to, be good enough condition to play 60 minutes or overtime, and do whatever it takes for the team to win. And face-offs is another aspect I want to get better at. But also, I think in the offensive zone, knowing when to shoot, when to pass. I think I've struggled a little bit with that this year. I had a lot of scoring chances throughout games where I couldn't really capitalize. And sometimes it's bounces, sometimes it's just picking a better spot. And I'm going to try and get better at that as well. Just know when to shoot and, and picking my spots. I think that's really important, and it's going to help me continue to get better.
How would you describe, like, obviously people will say, like, hey, you should probably shoot more. How would you describe, like, just ingraining that more in your head, or just dealing with that whenever you need to?
Yeah, I think I was always a pass first guy. My whole career, I loved other guys scoring more than me. I mean, I have some really good players on my wings, and I'm just trying to give them the puck and give them scoring opportunities. And but I think a lot of it is confidence too. When I'm playing really confident, I think I shoot the puck more often, and I'm picking my spots way better. And I think when you always have a shoot first mentality, when you're a skilled player and you're a talented player, you're gonna make the play either way, what way it goes. And I think I just gotta get better at that, and picking my spots, when to pass, when to shoot, and sometimes be a little more selfish, but it's still a team sport, so I can't shoot by myself all the time. I got to find my teammates, and that's what I like doing.
How do you think Fabian Zetterlund acclimated himself to his new surroundings, coming to Ottawa after the trade, living with you, playing on his line? What did you think of how he handled being in a new city and all of that in the last few months?
Yeah, I think he handled it really well. I loved having him in my place. I think he loved it too. Especially doing playoffs, I think it helps a lot when you guys are going through the same thing. It was his first playoffs too in the NHL, so we were really dialed, and actually didn't really do a whole lot. Then just focus on the hockey and trying to play our best. And I was really impressed by him as well. Coming in, he played on the fourth line at the start, and he was always a guy who played up the lineup, like first, second line. I think had like 18 goals before coming here in San Jose, and I was really impressed how calm he was, and how much he was just happy to be here and be a part of this team, and then focusing on what he's all about, that he wants to play there, and he knew we were winning. So I respected that a lot, and I don't think you can take that for granted, that he's just a guy who's willing to do anything for the team, no matter where he plays in the lineup. And he knew his chances are going to come. He knew he's gonna play up and down the lineup because it's just the player he is. But I was really impressed with that, and also his mindset of just trying to win everything. I think he blocked a lot of shots in really important games for us, and I think he was a little snake bitten throughout the year when he was with us, but you can just see he's a really good player, and he's still really young too, so he's going to continue to get better. And we're excited, and we got him at the trade deadline.
Tim, are you going to Worlds with Germany?
I would love to, really would. I got to see. Obviously, right now it's 2 days after we lost. I haven't really thought about anything than just being a little frustrated that we lost, but. I want to give my body like a couple days maybe to reset and go from there. But we'll see. I got to talk to the management too, talk to the coaches again, and see what they think, and then go from there. Yep. Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys.
How's it been for you, not just with the playoffs and all that, but you get traded after years in Buffalo, you join them at the trade deadline, teams winning, you go through your first playoff experience. How's it been for you processing these last, 2 months?
Yeah, it's been great. It's the most fun I've had playing hockey in a long time. Chasing the playoffs there, how big all those games were leading to the playoffs, and then playing in the playoffs. It was unreal. It was a great experience. It was awesome joining this group and meeting all the guys here. And the last 2 months have been great for me.
Talk about the playoffs a little bit, Dylan. This is your first real taste as well, too, along with a lot of the players on the team. What went into that? Getting guidance from older players on the team and just experiencing that for the first time.
Yeah. Obviously we had some guys with some good experience in playoffs, so they helped us a lot. Even when we went down 3-0, they still were positive in the room, just one game at a time, and talking lots and keeping the belief there for us. So just having those guys around, has a huge impact on the dressing room.
Do you always go back to Whitehorse to train in the summer, and what's that going to look like?
Yeah, I always go back for a third or half the summer. Usually I go right after the season ends, and take some time off there. And I'm not too sure exactly what my summer's going to look like. I'm sure I'll be in Muskoka for a bit too. That's where I've been skating the last little bit. So I'll probably go back to the Yukon for a bit, and then head up to Muskoka again.
Have there been any chats about going to Worlds with Canada?
Not yet. No.
Would you want to if that option was presented?
I think anytime you get to represent your country, it's an honor and a privilege. So, we'll see what happens these next few days.
Now that you've been around these Sens guys for the last 2 months, and I know you still have a lot of love for Buffalo and their teammates there, what would you say is the most noticeable difference in the atmosphere here versus what you were experiencing in Buffalo?
Yeah, it's we had some tough years in Buffalo, so I think the atmosphere and the environment here, it's definitely more positive. It's tough to say. I don't know exactly what the answer is to that, but I think, just coming here into a positive environment, it does a lot for you mentally and on the ice as well. Just being excited to come to the rink every day and, just be with your teammates every day was, great these last 2 months.
wonder if you can just dive into that a little bit more. Talk about the city itself. You've been here for almost 2 months now. You're going to be here for a little bit longer after that as well. How's the adjustment been to the city of Ottawa?
Yeah, it's been great. I love it here. I've always wanted to play in Canada, so to be here now, it's awesome. And just seeing the support and how everyone in the city rallied behind the team there was incredible. The atmosphere in that rink during those playoff games was nothing like I've ever seen before. So it was great. I'm just excited to get to see the city more. I haven't been out a whole lot, and just explore a bit more.
How would you describe the impact of having David Perron not just as a lineman but as a locker room presence?
Yeah, he's great in the room. On the bench in the games, everything. He's always talking. Bringing the energy, just firing guys up. He's obviously won the cup too, so he knows what it takes. And he was great to play with and get to know. And I'm just looking forward to more of that from him. He's a huge voice in the room and great guy to have around.
Dylan, in your short time here, what did you learn about Brady Tkachuk as a leader?
Yeah, he is. He's an unbelievable leader. He leads by example. Whether it's throwing a big hit or fighting someone or scoring a goal, he does it all. And to have that guy leading your team, it's exactly what you want. And to follow him to battle every night is, it's awesome. He's a guy that playing against him. He never liked playing against him, but I always had a lot of respect for him and his game. So now that I get to play alongside him, it's awesome.
What are the areas of your game that you want to improve this offseason and specifically going into next season?
Yeah, there's a lot. Overall for my season, I wasn't very happy with it personally. I got a lot more to give. I think I just want to improve. Having the confidence with the puck and holding on to it and maybe not forcing a play and just waiting for the play to develop. I think there's a lot of things in my game I can improve and I'm going to work on. And, I'm going to take this next little bit to really think about exactly what those are. I think a big thing for me is just getting to my top speed quicker. I think my skating is a weapon that I don't use enough, and it's just working on that acceleration, being quicker so I can use my skating more.
What did you learn from just playing in the playoffs, like about the intensity that maybe you can kind of take forward to next season?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned how much every shift matters. Every mistake matters. Every play matters. Whether it's just getting it in behind him instead of trying to force a play, like it matters and it has an impact on the game. So I think our group learned a lot as well. Even after that first game, we learned a lot and we made adjustments and we came out better. So I think it was really big experience for us. That's going to help us a lot next year.
Tim mentioned to us earlier that Claude Giroux is the type of guy who has bonds with just about everyone in the locker room. In your short time with him, how would you describe your relationship with him?
Yeah, I think we had a pretty good relationship by the end of the season there. He's always chirping and giving it to me, and I'll give it back. But he's a great guy, and it's awesome to get to play with him and get to learn from him every day and just take little bits and pieces of his game and try and implement them into my own. But it was great getting to know him. He's a great guy and great guy to have in the room.
What would you say is the biggest thing you've learned from him in terms of what you can add to your own play?
Yeah, for me personally, I think was face-offs. He's obviously an unbelievable face-off guy, and I'm a righty as well. So I was always asking him during games if I was struggling against a guy, tips and tricks to help me out, and just little things like that. And he'd always give me something, and it would help. So yeah.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
summer.
Yeah, you guys as well.
with the Ottawa Senators?
I thought it was good. There's a lot of different, development things that I wanted to work on throughout the season, and I think that we hit those points, here and there, and I felt like by the end of the year I was kind of playing my kind of hockey and trying to contribute to the team. I think that's kind of how my season went.
How's it been processing the last few days? I know it's probably still fresh in your mind being out of the playoffs, but what's it been like for you processing those emotions?
Oh yeah, just being able to see the Canadian Tire Center like that, it was an unbelievable experience. I think that getting all the guys into the playoffs and experiencing that, and I think I took so much away from that kind of hockey, and I want to be back in it as soon as possible.
Kyle, you quickly became a fan favorite, especially during the playoffs. Even Linus Ullmark gushing about your physicality. Talk about that and turning up the intensity come playoff time.
Yeah, I don't think I really changed my style at all. I just, in the playoffs, it's more physical. The plays get simpled down a little bit more, and it's just, I don't know, I think it just fit my style of hockey kind of. I play a certain way, and, I'm not going to go out there and skate around and, make crazy plays all the time, but you don't see that a lot in the playoffs. So, I've stuck to the same, standard all year, and I thought in the playoffs I could just play my style a little bit more.
You're a restricted free agent at the end of the season. Have you talked to Steos at all, or your representatives, and how open are you to, a long-term fit in Ottawa?
Yeah, I haven't discussed anything yet. I love the city of Ottawa. They've been so good to me for the last couple of years, and I'll have to talk to my agency on all that kind of stuff. But I love the city and all it brings.
Going into the off season, are there any specific areas that you think you need to work on just to maybe take your game to that next level?
Yeah, I think so. I'll talk to the staff and all that kind of stuff, and we'll create a plan to try to work on my weak areas, and I want to come into camp next year and kind of pick up where I left off at the end of the year, and try to have a good start to the season. So I'll go back to North Dakota this summer and train there.
How much do you feel playoff experience just added some confidence to yourself and for your game to go into next season?
Yeah, the playoffs is, it's a man's game out there for sure. Just every battle is that much more important, and I loved it. It was so much fun to be out there, and I could play my physical style. I thought that it was just it was fun hockey, and I thought that it fit my style of play. So yeah.
Is there any kind of validation that comes with that your strengths seem to be enhanced in the games that were the hardest and most physical this time of year?
I don't know. I just try to go out there and play my style and just try to help the team. I think that, like I said, playing in the playoffs, it's almost easier because it's just so simple. Like, everyone's just doing their job, and pucks just get moved north faster, and I can play more physical as well. Like, in the regular season, there's 82 games. You gotta maintain your body a little bit. You can't go all out every single game, but in the playoffs, it's a little bit shorter, and you can express yourself on the ice a little bit more at times. So yeah.
Your game seemed to evolve once you were paired with Nick Mattampalo. Can you talk about that chemistry with him and your relationship with him?
Yeah, he's an awesome guy off the ice, and we worked pretty well last year in Belleville together, and we had that experience. And he plays simple, hard hockey, and that's kind of what I like to think that I am. And he's physical, and we just broke pucks out well in the playoffs, I thought, and just tried to help our team out and give them good minutes. And he was a great partner to have in the playoffs.
you get noticed for your physicality a lot, but talking to some of your Nodak teammates that have known you a while, they thought that you didn't get appreciated enough for your ability with the puck and to make plays and have poise. Just a thought from you on where your game's grown in that area.
Yeah, I think, over the course of the season, just, getting that many more puck touches and that kind of stuff, you kind of understand the game a little bit more, too. It slows down at times. I think that, that's where confidence comes into play. Like, at the start of the season, it's probably, I didn't have many puck touches. I only played 17 games. Confidence probably wasn't all there. And then, by the end of the year, I'm almost 100 games now, and, I can see how some players play, and I can understand my teammates a little bit more. So, I think that, confidence has grew over the course of the season, and you could see my, different styles come out.
Travis Hamonic said one of the things he tried to do is give scouting reports of opposing teams before games. What did you learn from Travis throughout the season? Yeah, he was great.
Hammer always worked on little things with me too. At the start of the year, we'd always be out at the end of practice working on little details like picking up pucks off of rims or breakouts and being able to communicate on the ice, just stuff like that. Not many people can really teach it because they haven't played 900 games in the NHL. He's a guy that has been around forever, and even in the playoffs, just telling me little things to help out my game. I thought that it was awesome to have him around, and he was a great teammate.
Tyler, I don't know if there's been any interest, but would your status as a restricted free agent keep you from going to the World Championships?
Yeah, I don't plan on going there this year.
Thank you, Travis.
Perfect. Thank you.
How would you sum up your first playoff experience?
Sum it up. Yeah, obviously it was a cool couple weeks for us. Me personally, it's just so fun. I think for a while there, every time the spring time came around, we weren't playing meaningful hockey, and then just to have that, to experience the fans here, just everything is probably the most fun I've had playing hockey in my life, and the best is yet to come for us, and I'm just excited for the future. So it was definitely a cool experience, though.
How different did this year feel, given last year you played half a season, you had a surgery,
Yeah.
all that stuff? Just how fulfilling was this season for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think I had a few injuries too this year, so there's a couple bumps in the road. But obviously with last year and everything I've kind of been through, it's nice to get to pretty much a full season and to make playoffs. There's a lot to build off of. Just exciting for me, and just definitely happy with how it went down.
Face-offs too in this playoff series.
Yeah.
You being one of those guys, what are your takeaways from that aspect of the game in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things I kind of took away from it is how important they are. obviously in the regular season it's important, but I think it's just so much more elevated puck possession in the playoffs to start because obviously D-zone faceoffs are super important, and it's all about inches in the playoffs, and one faceoff could obviously determine the outcome of a game, and so yeah, obviously learned a lot. Taking those D-zone drills, obviously G's done a great job of trying to guide me in that aspect because he's so successful at it. So I think I learned a lot from it, and I'll carry into next year and hopefully have a great year in the dot.
How much of that guidance is chirping?
Chirping, a lot of it, but it's all out of a place of love with G. I think, I think we have that good relationship where he's kind of like my big brother, and he just wants the best for me, and the chirping is just all part of it.
Why does Claude Giroux have such a positive impact in your locker room? Not just with you, but with so many guys in your room.
I mean, obviously it comes down to two. I mean, what kind of player he is, how successful he's been in this league. He's been a captain of a franchise for more than 10 years, I think. 8 years maybe, I don't know what it is. But, just the guy he is. He's a silent leader, but he leads by example. And, I mean, when you've played 1,000 games in this league and been as successful as he's been, you're going to listen because you realize how hard that is to do and what it takes he has. And I think that's why his message is so impactful in the room.
It wasn't just your first opportunity in playoffs, but your line had a major role in shutting down some dangerous players. What was it like every game facing that task?
Yeah, it's fun. I think going into the games, you try not to think about it too much. Obviously, that's your job for the night. But I think me, Mikey, and Rids love it. I think we try to embrace it. And I think Greener kind of gave us that role in the middle of the year. I think it kind of started. And ever since then, I think we've done a good job of embracing it. And, I love it. It's fun. And hopefully in the future I try to continue to do that.
You mentioned face-offs. What
Yeah.
are some other areas of your game that you want to improve on into next season?
Yeah, I think every year you try to look at your game and try to evaluate. I think a little bit more offensive play driving. I think I could do a little bit better job of. Obviously, as a center, I think that's important, especially in the playoffs. I know there's not a lot of space out there, but you got to try to drive the play the best you can. That's a lot of 5-on-5 hockey, so that's a part of my game I want to improve. And yeah, obviously, I think I do a better job in faceoffs. I think I was around 50 this year, but I want to take a step in that area. Hopefully, maybe score some more goals in the future, but that's about it.
This shutdown role, how different is it in the playoffs when you're facing the same guys every night? They're trying to figure holes in what you're doing, and you're trying to figure out their tendencies to stop them. So
it's a bit of a chess match, I think, in all areas of the game, especially in that sense, especially face-offs too. I think throughout game to game, we're looking at video, they're looking at video of how we could beat each other, and I think that's kind of the main thing when you're facing the same guy every time in the dot. Tendencies-wise, I think hockey's such an unpredictable game where it's hard. I mean, guys have tendencies, but the game's so unpredictable. There's going to be different things every night, so you just have to trust your instincts. But yeah, a lot of it's more face-offs and facing that same guy every night.
What did you think of how Adam Gaudette was in that 4C role and played on the PK and as a teammate?
Unreal, man. I think, coming into training camp, I don't think he really, I don't know. I don't know if he was supposed to make the team, but I mean, he had a great year for us. I think he stepped up super big in the playoffs. I think if you want to win in the playoffs, some guys are going to have to step up, and he did a great job for us all year. Almost scored 20 goals in that type of role. That's not easy to do, and just super happy for him. Just a down-to-earth guy and works hard every day. Doesn't say much, but he's just a true pro, and I'm just happy for him.
You talked about wanting to score more goals. Towards the end of the season, you got bumped from the second power play. Was that tough to take, and is that the role that you want to get back to next year?
Yeah, I think, I'm a competitive guy. I don't think you get here without being competitive. So obviously I want to be on the power play, but that's out of my control. I think that's a thing I learned. Sometimes you can't control some of the things that happen to you, and I thought at first I was a little bit bummed, but I had to play a different role for our team to win, and I try to embrace that. And hopefully in the future they see me as a little bit more of an offensive guy, but like I said, I got put into a role this year where I try to do my best to embrace it, and like I said, it's going to be a new year next year, and we'll kind of see where it goes.
You're extension eligible this summer.
Yeah.
How open would you be to extending with the Senators long term?
Yeah, I mean, if they want me around here for a long time, I'd obviously be open to it. Like I said, everything's so fresh, just ended, so I think as the weeks go on, you think about more and more things. And but yeah, obviously, I love being here. Love the boys. We're building something special, and yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to staying here for a long time.
You talked about guys stepping up in the playoffs. What about former Nodak teammate Tyler Klevin?
Yeah.
Not only physically, but is poised to make plays with the puck as well.
Yeah, I mean, I played with him obviously my sophomore year, so I kind of saw what kind of player he could be. And when you come into the NHL, it's not easy to you're trying to just get your feet wet and trying to get your ground under you. And sometimes it takes a bit. And I think in the first half of the year he came in, played well. And then, always when you're a rookie, it's not easy to play 82 games. I went through it where I was terrible for like 30 games. And it's just finding that consistency. And then for him to bring it in his first Stanley Cup playoff series and to play the role that he did, I was so impressed. I think he was one of our best players, honestly. With the puck, he broke out pretty much every puck whenever he got the chance to. He played a role in the PK too towards the end of it, made some great plays. So, and he was starting to be way more physical. So, I mean, he's only 23, I think 22 years old, big man, and he's just going to continue to grow and grow. So, I think this playoff series though is going to be a big stepping stone for his confidence too coming into next year, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do next year because it's going to be pretty cool. Awesome. All right, guys, have a good.
How's it been for you processing the last few days since the playoffs ended for you guys?
Yeah, it's tough. I felt like we could have done it. Had a great team. We're playing pretty good, and I think it just shows situations like that. It can go both ways. Obviously, going into overtime, it's kind of a coin flip. So, I think if we get a little bit lucky on some of those bounces, I think the series goes the other way. But it didn't. So, just look forward to next year and see what happens.
You're not that far off from a couple months back when this team hit a low point in November and they lost 5 games in a row. How did you guys dig yourselves out of that hole? Was it obviously you look within yourselves, but was there like a meeting? Was there heart-to-heart, big speech? What happened?
Looking back, you have meetings every single day. I think some longer than others, but I think when you go through losing streaks like that, you just got to get one win. Got to find a way and just go from there.
What was the season like for you? Like you admitted it early in the year, you struggled, then you kind of raised your game in the playoffs. You played well. Like, what did you learn from this season, just as maybe like a main takeaway?
Yeah, it's a long season. You're going to struggle at times, and I think you don't want to get too consumed in your routines. I think comfort kind of kills growth. So I think you don't want to get comfortable in the day-to-day routines. You want to, seek out challenges every single day in practice. And I think as the season was going on, I was finding myself getting caught in those routines and just not going through the motions. But I think, like I said before, not really seeking out challenges. So obviously, I think a flip switched in my mind as the season went on, and I think just that helped me a little bit.
What are those things that you try to kind of push yourself or challenge yourself to not be in that routine of comfortability?
Yeah, I think just little things in practice. I don't know, like silly things like passing on your backhand when it's an easy forehand play. Obviously, just making yourself a better player, but in the gym too. I think every aspect in hockey. Yeah.
A lot of people took notice of you during Four Nations. People said that your series against Toronto was a bit of a coming out party for yourself. How do you feel about the fact that your profile and your stock, essentially through what you've done this year, is up, and more and more people will start paying more attention to your game?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think as the season went on, I think at the start of the season I was a little wrapped up in trying to just do too much, trying to be something I wasn't, and I think as the season went on, it kind of settled into my play a little bit more, and found out the player I want to be. Yeah, but I think it's just one season. You had good parts of the season. That doesn't really make a career, so you just want to keep building.
What's the next maybe challenge for you, in the off season? What are the areas that you want to improve on heading into next season?
Yeah, I think everything. Just get stronger, faster. I think playoffs too kind of, makes you realize, the type of game you need to play to win. And it's long too. We only played 6 games, and it's physical, it's intense. So, yeah, lots of experiences that I learned from this year and take going into the summer.
Jake, some of the players, I think about Brady, I think even Stoops, let's say they look up to you in some of your preparation. What are those things you're doing behind the scenes that you're just taking extra care in doing?
I don't know. I think guys say that, but I think everyone kind of does it nowadays. Maybe I'm a little bit more nerdy about it than other guys, but no, I love that part of the game. I mentioned before playing with Jacob Chikrin last year, role model for me, and I think just the health stuff in general that I like. So, yeah, I think hockey's kind of it's my life. It's 24 hours nonstop. So, whatever I can do to help myself play better and help the team win, I'm obviously going to do it. So.
Extra ice tubs, or the way you're eating, or sleep patterns, or what is it?
Yeah, I try different stuff every single year. Obviously, I think the main things are huge. Your diet, make sure you're eating enough. Yeah, sleep's obviously a big thing. But like I said before, I feel like everyone's doing it. It's just I don't know. Maybe they just noticed me doing it a little bit more.
Have you been approached by Team USA to join them for Worlds this spring?
Yeah, I have. I declined this year. I just think it was a long season. But obviously I love representing my country and hopefully have more opportunities in the future.
Is there anything specific you took away from the Four Nations playing with those guys that helped you down the stretch?
Yeah, I think just being around everyone. I feel like for the most part everybody has the same physical capabilities on the ice, skating, hockey IQ and whatnot. But I found just being there, the guys that separated themselves from the rest of the team in the league, I think it's mental. It's their confidence day in and day out, and their belief in what they do. And I think that too, what Claire mentioned earlier, just the preparation stuff. All those guys are, at the top of their game with their nutrition and their mental game. So I think, kind of just all aspects rubbed off on me in that tournament.
What do you think Travis's approach, his vision for how he wanted the team to play? Why do you think that resonated with this group so effectively?
Yeah, it's been unreal. Since Travis has been our head coach this year, I think every player loves him. We love playing for him. He has a great relationship with everybody on our team. So I think when you have that in a coach, it just brings out the best in everybody, and you're excited to come to practice and work with everybody. So I think this year was just the first step of many for us in the future.
Thanks, Jake.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
How's it been processing these last 2 months for you, where you get traded from San Jose, you join a winning team in Ottawa, and you go to the playoffs, and everything going on around that?
I would say it's been great. Felt like I stepped into a big family, and it's been great. It's the group is so tight and so close with each other, so it was easy for me.
even hockey-wise didn't go that well at the beginning, but I felt comfortable when I learned the system more and more, and yeah.
How did the guys go about kind of embedding you into their family?
They just, like, right away when I got traded, so many guys texted me from the team, so I felt already there. They're really tight, and like I said, yeah, just felt like a family, and that was true.
What was it like living with Tim Stützle for the rest of the season? What was that kind of brotherhood relationship like for you?
Yeah, he reached out right away too, and told me I could live with him, and yeah, it was easy choice, and we had a lot of fun together. It's just made my when I came here so much easier. He showed me around everything, so yeah, it's just great to have a guy like that.
How was it for you learning how to play with it?
It's great. I only played against him, and it wasn't fun all the time, but yeah, it's a great player, and great teammate to have around.
You know, you're a restricted free agent this summer. Have there been any discussions with Steve about a new contract so far?
You can talk to Steve.
Would you like to be an Ottawa Senator in the future?
I would love to be Ottawa Senators. Yeah.
Is it frustrating when you're having success with San Jose coming here, those expectations that you're brought in to produce, and just not getting those results right away, or are you just more focused on the process, assimilating?
I feel good about myself, I said it a long time. If I work hard every shift, it's gonna come, and it did finally come. And I mean, I didn't put up the points I wanted to, but I felt like I worked really hard for the team overall, and yeah, I'm just gonna prepare for the next year, and I will be back hopefully.
What will you remember about your first playoff experience?
Wow, that was great. Happens fast out there, everything, first 5 minutes was hard, but then it's just hockey, and especially when we came home here, the fans were amazing, and the crowd was crazy, and there was so much, goosebumps and stuff, but I mean, to see what we did with the whole city is just amazing.
Anything else?
Thank you.